coin targets today? What is more profitable potentially if you're a trader? And in general, what are the prospects of holding Bitcoin versus AI coins? If you don't know what AI coins are, they're simply coins created by projects that are in the artificial intelligence or AI space. Well, if you're not aware, there's a large amount of AI coins currently being traded on the markets. And to do any research about them, if you haven't already, you can, start in places like CoinMarketCap or any other significant coin index, where you can see literally, whole listings of just AI coins one after the other. And there's a sizable number of them. And so the question becomes, of course, because AI is a hot topic in the last year and a half or so, and is progressing in that trajectory with increased velocity as more and more AI projects come online. What is it better to invest in at this point in time for the long term? And why do I compare Bitcoin with AI coins? Well, first of all, because obviously Bitcoin is the 500-pound gorilla, so to speak, in the coin space in terms of crypto coins, and so that's the one to look at, because by definition anything that it typically does in terms of big movements usually is paired with movements across the board. So if orange coin go up, generally the market does too, and you can see that, for example, in what happened yesterday and the day and is currently happening today so far, if you look at where the asset is moving. So, for example, today's targets on Bitcoin would be, since it's a fairly tight range on the VRE, it wouldn't be surprising to see the asset go up to the first daily sell level. Last I looked, it was nearly there. It would also not be surprising to see it dip down a little bit to go test the central daily range of the VRE, which it has not yet done today. Does it always do that? No, it doesn't always do that, but pretty regularly it does. In fact, most of the time at some point it will touch that range, if not tested thoroughly. Why? Because those levels are like price magnets, but so are the other levels. So that's why you gotta look to low time frames to get a sense of the actual direction. If you know how to read the VEPs, then you know how to do that. The longer term, look, are you likely to see multiple billions of percent gains on holding spot, Bitcoin in your wallet? Probably not. Right? Those days are already behind us, where from the in the first 15 years, those percentages were gained, and now we're at the point where it's still extremely volatile, but obviously less than the first few years or so, when it was a brand new asset. It was rising from zero, so any amount that it rose was a significant gain, right? But regardless, it still has fantastic gains and will likely have fantastic gains available for the foreseeable future. Does that mean that it can never go down? Of course not, right? It goes up and down all the time, right? And we're likely to see significant pullbacks again, right? It is not uncommon to see 60, 70, 80% pullbacks after a quote-unquote bull cycle, right? I don't like to use that term very much because it's a silly term, but when we reach, the massive new highs of the next cycle of running up, it's very common to see Bitcoin pull back, about 80% or more. sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. It's not, it doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but it certainly is within the probabilities each time it does, because of the maths, not because of it happened before. That's not the reason. It's just because of the maths, right? So by that same token, pun not intended, it is very likely that we're going to see extreme volatility in the AI coin space, right? As there are an increasing number of projects coming online in the AI space, and many of them will absolutely fail because they're built on, many of them. Some of them are very interesting and certainly have a lot of potential. Some of them are, kind of already doing their thing, but none of them have really obviously delivered on their promise yet, because it's still early in that phase of this particular kind of market. Now, does that mean that there won't be any great AI coin projects delivering really great goods in the near future? No, there certainly can be great projects that will actually not just have a coin, but actually have some interesting products and services that a lot of customers are likely to sign up to. And by a lot, I mean, relative to the space. Sure, lots of people use ChatGPT and Google's Gemini and Microsoft's version of ChatGPT and all these other large language model tools, but those are hardly the be-all and end-all of artificial intelligence. Right? They're just large language models. They're really not even artificial intelligence. Right? If you know anything about the AI space, you'll know that really, AI is actually quite a diverse field, and there's many different layers of what people call AI, but a lot of it is really just machine learning. Some of it is deep learning. Some of it is neural networks. There's all kinds. There's soft AI, hard AI. There's all kinds of different artificial intelligence models. There's large language models. There are small language models, by the way, which is not very popular, but they do exist. And what are they for? They're for very niche-focused topics. So they get really in-depth and very focused on their niche, and in many respects do a better job than a broad, large language model-based tool that kind of gives you generic pablum for the masses. Say for example, if you want to write an article about, how to do basic plumbing in your house, right? If you use a ChatGPT type service, you get a very generic type article that may or may not, be super high quality. But if you use a very specific, AI tool that's focused on, home plumbing, for example, or just plumbing, then you'll get a much more authoritative article written for you by the tool. Right now, obviously, not every niche is covered yet, but as time goes by, niches will be more and more well covered. And it could be, by the way, that the large language models adapt and build niche vertical models for each specific topic, and so that they get more and more high quality content. And the same goes for AI in general, AI coin projects, right? They will become more and more vertical, less broad based, as they realize that they're better served by serving the vertical niche interests of a very specific group of users. Anyway, some thoughts for now. Happy trading.